My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Rimworld in the Feralisk infested jungle. Picked up straight where we left off last time around, and that was after we'd unlocked the research electronics. Now I've made one small change before I started recording, and what I've done is this new large growing zone here is going to be growing hay grass. Now I've done this for two reasons really. First of all, we don't really need the chocolate. While it does give our colonists a nice recreation boost, it's not the be all and end all. I've swapped out for hay grass because we can use the hay grass to feed our animals, and that reserves this food then for our colonists. And also growing the hay grass here will allow us to to build our wind turbines in the middle or around this growing area, because the hay grass, and in fact most plants except from trees, will not block the wind turbines, so they can operate nice and effectively. Obviously, because it's a growing zone, the colonists will naturally remove any trees that start to grow nearby, especially around the immediate border of this growing zone. So then we should be able to put down our wind turbines and forget all about them without having to micromanage any trees that grow nearby. Other than that, not much has changed yet. We're still left with our 5 colonists plus our slave Larden. And we'll see what today brings from Randy Random, shall we? Okay, so we've just cut down the anima tree, which has emitted a disturbing psychic scream. I didn't mean to do that. I should have maybe just reduced the zone by 1 cell in this area. Unfortunately, that's going to have a negative effect on our colonists, as we can see in their mood bar. They will now get a -6 from the anima scream, and that will last them for, let's see how long that will be an issue for, 5 days time. So for the next 5 days our colonists are going to suffer a bit of a mood penalty, so we might now see an increase in mental breaks, which is very unfortunate. We've also seen here that Arthur, our blind salamander that joined us, has now gotten the flu, which is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. So overnight, Riser and Sanford are planting out the new hay grass that we've asked to be sown in, and as I said, that's going to have the effect of giving us a nice open area for our wind turbines to be constructed, which we need to get on with soon. Okay, so Leslie and Garcia are now both awake, so Leslie, could you go and attempt to convert Garcia for me, please, and see what sort of effect this is going to have. So it's dropped to 15%, so maybe 1, maybe 2 more should be enough to get her down to 0. We'll see what happens there. Larden's in quite a bad mood, as we can see. He's sick. Observe the skull spikes. And as we can see, the skull spikes are not having any effect on his terror level, so in fact I'm just going to deconstruct those and get rid of them. There's no point dragging his mood down unnecessarily, especially if we're not getting any benefit from it. So what I'm going to have Python do is prioritise deconstructing those. As you can see there, I've just asked for these 2 amoebas to be released. I'm quite happy having the junglist kept around. It makes a very good defensive ally. And we can even, now that it's matured slightly, use it for hauling purposes as well. So we're going to have Riser attempt to train our junglist to haul. So the field has almost been completely sown out now. As we can see, there's still only a few trees that remain standing. So what we can do now is start to plan where we're going to have our turbines built up. And as you can see, we've got pretty much ideal spacing here. And we could have a whole row of them. We could probably fit at least 3. Yes. And that should be enough for now. However, we'll have them this way, just so they're that little bit closer to the colony. That way we don't have to run the conduits quite so far. And to begin with, we'll go for 2 turbines. What I'm also going to do, as you can see here, I've asked for this chunk of slate to be mined, as well as this. In this area here, we're going to build a small slate structure that's going to be used to house the batteries. That way, if there's any short circuits and the likes, the batteries are kept away from our colony, so we shouldn't see any immediate danger to the colony through fire or explosion. Oh, I see, we can't release them because they can't get through that door. Okay, well now you should be able to release. Where do you go to release? Oh, you go all the way out there to release them, do you? Well, in that case, we'll not do that. Instead, we'll slaughter them. We don't need them. Oh, they blow up, do they? I did not know that. That's a little bit unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, they give acid burns as well. Oh my god, that could be really, really, really bad. So you're going to have to bed rest immediately, and you cannot walk. Have I just messed it up here? Right, Leslie, rescue... Well, first of all, are you bleeding out imminently? No. Rescue Riser, get her into the hospital wing. Why do you have so many guns? You've only got one pair of hands. My god. You've been holding out on us there, Riser. Okay, so as you see now, Leslie has treated Riser's acid burn, so hopefully she'll make a full recovery from that. She's in a lot of pain, unfortunately. So we'll leave the, yeah, we'll not set that one to slaughter. We'll keep that one around. It's just not worth it. Okay, so Riser's now up and about again. We'll let her continue with her work. The acid burns have been tended nicely. Thank you for that, Leslie. There we go. That's the turbines up and running. As we can see, they're not blocked by anything at all. So what we're going to do now is, as I said, plan out where we're going to have our battery storage room. So let's go to structures. We want the slate wall. And essentially they're just going to be in this area here. And we'll get rid of one of the farming cells. We have enough cotton, let's be honest. And we'll just have wooden doors in like that. And then in this area we're going to put down the batteries. So into power. Oh, we haven't researched batteries. Yes, we're currently researching them. Never mind, as soon as we've got them unlocked, we're going to mark out where the batteries are going to go. For the time being, then, what we could do is start the power conduits, just like that. What I'm also going to do at this point is actually put down another stockpile outside. And this is going to be for any clothing that is tattered, of awful quality and the likes, just so we can filter it out. And given that we're going to be leaving it outside, it will eventually deteriorate out in the due to the sun, the wind, the rain and the like. So this is going to be a critical priority storage zone. We'll clear everything and then just have a pile. And what we're going to do is set it to anything below 50% hit points. In fact, we'll go 49. And awful to... We'll go to poor as well, because obviously as our colonists improve their tailoring skill, then the clothing quality is going to improve as well. So Sanford's on the verge of a major breakdown. Of course, he's still mourning the loss of his lover, which is understandable. In fact, let's just have a look. How long will he be mourning for? So just another week to go. I say just, it's quite a long time, that, isn't it? He's also been insulted, he's upset by the anima scream, he's eating non-cannibalistic food, and he has no recent conquest. So once Leslie has converted GARCIA, I do think Sanford has to be our next priority to bring into the fold, just to remove a lot of those negative mood effects that he's suffering at the moment. There we go, Riser's fully healed, as we can see, so that's good. No long-term damage there, hopefully. Let's have a look. No, indeed not. Okay, so that's the battery research finished off. So what we're going to research next is air conditioning. That way we can start work on keeping our food stockpile zone. And in fact, this one as well. We can work on them being temperature controlled, which should, well, it will grant our food indefinite durability, as it won't rot anymore. What we can also do now that the batteries have been finalised is we can go into the power option and we'll queue up the construction of a few large batteries. I put one there, that's going to block the door. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll have, yeah, we'll go like that, I think. Leslie is able to once again attempt another round of conversion, so when she wakes up, it should be round about now. We'll have her focus on GARCIA and see what happens here. Okay, so Leslie has converted Garcia to the Undivided Collective. That's fantastic. So our next target, as I said, will be Sanford, because we need to remove all these negative mood modifiers that he's having due to his current religious beliefs. As we said, Garcia does have a higher social skill than Leslie, as we can see. Quite a lot higher, in fact. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to assign her the role of the Elder, which is the role currently occupied by Leslie. I do imagine this is going to upset Leslie, but in the long run it's going to be worth it, so we're going to have a little ceremony now for this. There we go, Leslie's Elder role has been lost. She was unassigned. Garcia is now the new Elder, so what we're going to have to do now is ask Leslie to drop her cloth cape, and Garcia will start wearing that instead. So we'll allow use of it. Garcia, we'll force you to wear that. There we go. I imagine Leslie's going to be quite insulted by the change. Let's just have a look here. Yes, lost the Elder role, -15. However, we still have quite a few positive mood modifiers here. So I think we're going to be okay, but we'll keep half an eye on Leslie just to make sure, of course. There's no point having her mood tank unnecessarily. As we can see, we've just lost a whole host of vegetarian fine meals. Hopefully that will very soon become a thing of the past, once these batteries start getting connected up properly. I'm not sure why that isn't filling up. Maybe if we put it there, I'll put one there. Oh, we have new lovers. Sanford and Riza are now lovers. Well, that's fantastic. That's very nice. Hopefully they won't suffer the same tragedy that Sanford encountered with his last lover. But what we're going to do now is assign them to the same bed. Oh, we can't because his ideology forbids it. Okay, so that's an extra reason to get Garcia to immediately try to convert Sanford. Hopefully it won't take too long. So we can now start planning where we're going to run our power conduits through the base. Obviously we'll keep them in the walls as much as we can so we don't see the cables trailing everywhere like that. So let's do this now. So power. We want power conduit, so we want to come out of here. And we'll come in like this. And we'll have it run to there to start with. In fact, no, we want to run it down here. At some point that will be exposed because this will be mined away in the future. It's not urgent right now, which is why I've not queued up the order, but we can see the plan still exists. So given that we've just broken into our storage facility, we want to rebuild that wall as quickly as possible. What just exploded? Is it a thunderstorm? Yes, it is. And we've refinished air conditioning. We also have a fire. One thing at a time. Let's go to the research screen. So we've got air conditioning. What do we want to go for next? I think we'll go for modern bathroom fixtures. This unlocks showers and toilets, which is going to improve our colonists' mood quite nicely. Let's now check where the fire is. Okay, that does need urgent attention. While the rainstorm will likely extinguish the fire, there's no point risking our rice plants unnecessarily. Alright, we have another fire, but that one is less urgent because it's not near anything too critical. So, while I wouldn't mind if our colonists obviously did go and extinguish it, I'm not going to interrupt their current chores to do so. I've only got the one small fire left now, which Larden has taken care of for us. Thank you very much for that, Larden. Oh dear. Garcia is on a fire starting spree, which is going to be a real pain. Okay, so who's Sanford? I'm going to have you just manually follow Garcia around for the time being and just put out all these fires, please. Okay, so Garcia has now stopped running around starting fires, which is obviously nice. That was fun. Luckily, there was no critical damage. Some slight damage to some furniture, but nothing too concerning. There's the modern bathroom fixtures now sorted out. What shall we go for next? Let's have a quick look through. In fact, I might just get some of these out of the way just so they're ticked off. They're not really urgent. The main thing I wanted to do was get the air conditioning and the lights, which we've now done. I've not put any in position yet because we need more components. For components, we need to find some ship chunks to deconstruct. I don't think there are any more available in our little safe area, so in the next hour we're going to send somebody out to hunt for some components for us and bring them back to base. Let's wait for the junglisks to all fall asleep. In fact, where are they? Oh, they're all down here, and they are asleep now, which is fantastic. So there's a ship chunk which we can deconstruct. No, but I'll keep an eye out for them, and if I do see any others, obviously we'll get them as and when it is safe to do so. There's one there as well. Okay, so now that we have the components, we can actually we can start building the coolers. So temperature, we want a cooler, and we want it positioned that way around. 90 steel and 3 components. As we can see, the orange cable has been drawn in, so we have a connection. Python, you come and work on this. There we go. Now we can set this temperature. It's currently set to 21 degrees. We want to keep it. We'll go for negative 19, 18. That way, if we have a power outage, we should have a decent buffer before the temperature starts to climb and then affects our food. So as you can see, the temperature is starting to drop. It's currently around about 11-12 degrees compared to around 20 degrees or so that we have elsewhere. We finished Obelisk, so that's one of the minor ones out of the way. We'll work through a few more of those for the time being, just to clean up the research screen if nothing else. What happens when you deconstruct a mechanoid shell? Do you get anything from it? No, you don't. It just gets rid of it. That's fair enough. Worth a try. We might have got a component out of it. Sadly, we did not. So now we can start putting in some proper lamps, as we can see. So let's have a look. Wall light. These don't take any components, which is good. So we could put one there and there. These just use steel, which is fine. The next thing you want to build is a powered stove. That takes 80. That's a fuel stove. Electric stove requires 80 components. No, 80 steel and 2 components. I think we've got enough in storage. We have 12 components. So yes. So the first thing we're going to build is that. In fact, Riser, why don't you start working on some of these lights actually? Look at that. Much better. Python, you can deconstruct that torch now. That's carvings finished. Another thing out of the way. Let's go for monuments. That's more lights put up. Python. Oh, Rise was working on that. Never mind. Let's have you build Garcia's new stove for her. There we go, that's our electric stove. So now we can replace these bills with the ones that cook in bulk. So for example, 5 vegetarian meal times 4. And we'll set up the same sort of order that we had previously. So X per colonist. And we'll have 3 per colonist. No, we'll go for 4 per colonist. Look everywhere. And pause when satisfied. And then drop on the floor. And we'll just have to make sure we don't have a huge surplus down here like we did previously. So that's that one. And then we'll do the same for simple meals for our slaves. And this is going to be X per slave. And we'll say, should we say 4 per slave? And again, we'll do the same sort of thing. Look everywhere. Drop it on the floor. And then pause when satisfied. You can unpause at 1. And this one will unpause at 5. Okay. So there we go. That's going to make things a little bit more efficient now, especially that we don't have to worry about refueling it. As we can see, the temperature in this area is now hovering around about -2, so we might need more coolers. But as we can see, that's enough now that our ingredients are frozen, so they will no longer spoil, which is fantastic. So yeah, let's get ourselves a second cooler in here. So temperature, cooler. Again, this is probably going to aggro the spiders, so we want to be careful about this. Right, we'll put it down anyway, and we can always just stop anybody from working on it if it looks like the spiders are going to come through. I think what we'll also do is put down... Or we could amend this stockpile to also include our meals, because they're deteriorating away in here. Or we could just have this room temperature controlled as well, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Let's have a... Yeah, let's stick down a cooler in here. As we can see, we can just about squeeze one in without the need for building any extra conduits. Okay, so we have a raid. I was about to end the episode, but we'll see how this raid goes first of all. I think at the moment we've got quite a few hungry junglisks, so we might not need any intervention, but we shall see what happens. Anyway, they're armed with, what are these, slings? Yeah, 2 slings and a bow. I believe that's all of them. I think there's only 3. Unless one has dropped in up here again, but it doesn't look like it has. So we'll see what happens here. As I said, I think we should be okay. There we go. They've clearly attacked the junglisks, and now they're taking their revenge. And that means all these junglisks have now turned manhunter, I believe. They're beginning their assault. There's only 2... No, there are 3 of them left. Let's see how this goes. Okay, the junglisks have now turned their attention to them. Doesn't look like any are making a beeline to attack us. And I think that's all the raiders dealt with. Ah, no, there's one left, but he is fleeing. She is fleeing, I should say. There we go. Well, that's one of the benefits of living in the jungle. These, you have a natural defense in place. Right, let's get this cooler built. Where are you going? Okay, well, it is night time, so I think the junglers should be asleep now. Yes, they are. So we can get this cooler built overnight. And once that cooler is constructed, I think we'll end the episode here for today. I don't want to say we successfully survived that raid because, well, we had absolutely 0 intervention. They didn't even make it to our defensive lines. Oh, we need components. Well, that's... We have a component there. It's right there. What do you mean you're missing components? How many components does a cooler require? 3. We have 7. What is going off there? Oh, your hope. Okay, that's why. I thought Python was going to bed. No, he's finishing the work. That's good. But for now, we'll end it here, as I said. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I shall see you in the next episode. All that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.